You ought to see what we just got towed in. Hey guys, what's up? It's Eric with Advanced Love Automotive. Welcome back to another video and welcome back to another case study. Right behind me I have a very beautiful mint condition 1999 Chevrolet Corvette with a big old honking V8. This vehicle just got towed in because it's a no start. Customer stated that he and his buddy dropped the transmission to replace the clutch. They also replaced the slave cylinder, the master cylinder, and the lines. I'm not actually sure when the vehicle became a no start. I don't know if it has anything to do with the clutch problem. It may or may not have, but the customer did point out some wiring that was touching the exhaust manifold, and that wiring is all melted, so he's thinking that may have something to do with the no start condition. I'm not really sure. Let's go ahead and check it out. All right guys, so moving under the hood, we've got our 5.7 liter V8 engine. And as you can see, this engine does look like it's seen better days. And probably had quite a few people working on this thing that really shouldn't have been working on it. Anyway, the vehicle came in with a dead battery, which is no surprise because this is an Optima battery, which in the 17 years I've been doing this, I don't think I've ever seen an Optima battery that actually held a charge. So anyway, we got our battery charger hooked up. Let's go ahead and move inside the vehicle and see if we can start this thing. All right guys, so we're inside the vehicle. We've got the ignition on. I'm gonna go ahead and put my foot on the clutch pedal, which actually feels like it's all the way to the floor now. Yeah, it's definitely no clutch in this thing. So anyway, I got my foot all the way to the floor. I'm gonna go ahead and attempt to crank this thing. Make sure it's in neutral. Yep, let's go ahead and crank it. And nothing happens. Let's try that one more time. Yep, nothing's happening. Okay, now obviously the first question that comes to mind is whether or not there's a problem with the clutch safety switch, because like I said, the clutch pedal goes all the way down to the floor. Like, it's not even coming back up. I don't know if you can tell. So I guess there is a possibility that there is a problem with the clutch safety switch. Now looking up at the instrument cluster, we can see that the check engine light is illuminated, so we know that the computer is communicating. Looks like our security light is on, but it's not flashing. Let me see if it's flashing while we're cranking it. Nope. So I don't think we're dealing with a security issue. It definitely looks like we should probably go underneath over here and check out the clutch safety switch. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a quick look underneath where the clutch pedal is. See if we can locate the clutch safety switch. What the? Is this? Yeah, okay guys. I think I found the clutch safety switch. And not surprising, it looks like somebody put a piece of tie strap over this thing to keep the switch pushed down. And I mean, it is connected. The wire here is broken. I'm not really sure what the hell is this. Wow, man. Anyways, it looks like this is a clutch safety switch. Somebody's tried to bypass this by tying it down. Normally it's supposed to be mounted up on the clutch rod, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere up there along where the rod is. Let me show you. I think it's, well, what the hell? Is it just me, or does that clutch rod look really freaking bent? Wow, that thing is freaking bent. Are you kidding me? This rod is completely bent. How did they even manage to do this? What the hell? Damn, I thought I seen it all. Well, man, take a look at the bracket on the firewall here too. It looks like it's got a big crack in it. This is probably why the clutch is not working. All right, take a look at the bracket on the firewall. Also looks like there's a big crack in this bracket here. I mean, let me take a close look at it. Zoom you in on that. Yeah, that definitely looks like it's cracked. That bracket is definitely broken. Wow. I mean, how do you even accomplish that? I don't get it. This is a clutch pedal right here. I'm gonna try to push it with my hand. If you look up at the rod here, you'll see the rod there, and where it's bent. There's no way that that rod is able to push in and out of the master cylinder for the clutch there. So this is definitely going to need to be replaced. We should also probably check this clutch safety switch and see if maybe something with this broken wire right here might have something to do with why the vehicle doesn't start. There's also an open wire right here. Wow, this is some rigged up shit. Anyways, let's go under the hood. I want to show you guys the burnt up wiring that the guy was telling me about. Alright guys, so let me show you the wiring that was burnt up that the customer pointed out to me. Now again, if you look over here on this side of the engine, you'll see that he's actually got these long tube headers. And if you look down in here, let me try to focus you in. Right down there, we've got some exposed wiring. Hopefully you guys can see that. Sorry about the camera trying to focus. Right there, we've got some exposed wiring. You can see it's kind of running along the firewall there. So this is what he pointed out to me, is he thought maybe this had something to do with his no start condition. But let me show you guys something that I found while I was looking a little closer at that wiring. So if you follow that wiring back around the back side of the engine, let me get my flashlight in there. Let me show you guys the back side of the harness. We come down in here. I'm just gonna stick the camera in here. I'm gonna take you behind the engine so I can get you guys a visual of the condition of the wiring harness on the back side of the engine there. Okay, hopefully you guys can see that. We definitely have some pretty extensive damage to the wiring harness here. I don't know if that thing caught fire or what happened, but that wiring harness is pretty much toast. You can also see the clutch line, which is that gold part down there. They said they replaced that line, but that's beside the fact. This wiring harness right here is definitely toasted. I'm not sure what happened, but if you ask me whether or not it's possible that our no start condition could be due to this damage on the wiring harness, I would definitely say it's a big possibility. If not, even if we get the engine running, this vehicle is still definitely going to have problems, electrical problems, due to the condition of this wiring harness. So yeah. All right guys, so before we go any further, I just want to stop and take a minute to talk about what direction we want to go in as far as continuing with this vehicle. So I spoke to the customer today and I got a little more background information on the vehicle, and I also learned something new, which is something I didn't know. This vehicle was actually at another shop before it came here. So whenever the tow truck driver brought it in, they actually towed it from that shop to our shop over here. So that was a piece of information that I thought was really interesting. And on top of that, the customer told me that the vehicle sat at their shop for like 2 months. He also told me that the reason that he had the vehicle towed over here was because he felt like they were kind of putting him on the back burner. You know, they were putting other vehicles in front of his, purposefully avoiding his vehicle. So I guess he got irritated, which is understandable, and he decided to bring it over here. Now, to be honest with you, I kind of get where they're coming from, because I'm pretty sure that shop took a look at the car and kind of thought to themselves, this is a basket case. I mean, this is kind of one of those things that, like, you're looking at it from the surface, and on the surface, you know, you might see a few things here and there, but it's kind of like an onion. You know, you're just kind of peeling layers and layers. And sometimes when you deal with these vehicles, I call them onion vehicles because they're just layers on top of layers of problems. So, you know, you go in there to fix one thing only to find out that, you know, there's another problem and then another problem. So it becomes kind of one of those vehicles where, you know, you're just working at it, trying to finish it, trying to get it out of the shop so that you can get paid. But, you know, it's almost like the vehicle doesn't want to leave the shop because fixing it requires like stages. You know, you're having to fix one thing and then fix another thing. So I'm pretty sure that's why they looked at it and they thought, well, you know what, let's kind of put that off to the side. We have a few, you know, brake jobs and stuff like that we can do first because, you know, that's the stuff that's going to get money. You know, they're going to get that car in and out and they're going to get paid. This vehicle, they'll get started on it and they're probably going to end up spending weeks on it, and they're just going to feel like they're being consumed by the vehicle because, you know, they're trying everything they can to just get the vehicle fixed and get it out of there so that they can get paid. So I kind of understand where they're coming from. Now, does it make it right, you know, to ignore a customer or push them away? I don't know. Now, this is kind of where the big question comes in, is should I try to be the hero here? Or is this something that I should just, you know, tell them, look, man, I really don't want to get involved in it. I've looked at it and I've decided I'm probably going to spend way more time on this vehicle than it's worth for me. I would much rather not even go any further with the vehicle. So that's the big question. Now, in my 4 years of being a shop owner, I've had a really bad habit of trying to be the hero. And what I mean by that is that I get really difficult vehicles come in. And I mean vehicles that have been from shop to shop, and, you know, the customer, I'm kind of their last resort. So they bring it to me, and, you know, a lot of times when they bring it to me, they've already spent a majority of their money or their funds at these other shops. So by the time it gets to me, their funds have already dwindled and they expect me to come in and kind of save them. You know what I mean? But with basket cases like this, you know, it can be really difficult because, like I said, I can tell the customer, hey, it needs this part. So we go in there and we replace that part, or we fix whatever it is that we see. And then I have to call him back later and tell him, hey, you know, we did this, and while we were in there, we found this. So these situations can be pretty complicated. I mean, let's take, for example, the wiring harness. That thing looks like it caught fire. So is it possible that even after we repair that wiring harness, I mean, let's say we don't even repair it, because repairing that harness is not going to be easy. It'd probably be easier to just buy the whole wiring harness and replace the whole wiring harness. Now, looking at those wires, I'm pretty sure that something got shorted. So replacing the wiring harness would only be step one, because we could still have a lot of other issues once we replace that wiring harness. We're only fixing what we see wrong now, and once we get that harness replaced, you know, we're going to find out that there's a whole other host of problems on top of that. So, like I said, these situations are complicated. Now, to be honest with you, right now, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm kind of contemplating whether or not I really want to continue with this vehicle. And the only reason I'm doing that is because I'm thinking more about what the shop needs. Because, to be honest with you, we've been doing a lot of these big, complicated jobs. And these big, complicated jobs, they take up a lot of our time, and the pay is very slow. You know, it's not stuff that we get it in and out in one day and then we get paid the same day. This is kind of one of those things that, you know, it ends up getting dragged out over, you know, it could be a few days, it could be a few weeks. You know, I've had some things that go on for months because, you know, we're just kind of having to put it off to the side, work on something else to make a little bit of cash flow, you know, do a quick brake job or a quick tune-up and finish that job so that we can get paid, and then kind of come back to the other one, work on it a little bit. So this may be one of those things where I have to talk to the customer, help him to understand the situation here. The situation is that this has to work for both of us. It has to work for the customer and it has to work for the shop, because at the end of the day, the customer still wants to fix his car. You know, he probably wants the car running.
He wants everything working, but you know, he has to understand that Rome was not built in a day. That's something that a lot of customers have a hard time really understanding, because a lot of times I get customers that will drop off a vehicle and they give me this, laundry list of things and problems that their vehicle has, you know, and I'm like, okay, well, we can fix these things, you know, that's not a problem, but it really would be ideal for us to just kind of handle them, you know, 1 or 2 or 3 at a time. You know what I mean? Don't try to fix everything all at once, because that puts a burden on us, because we have a lot of other vehicles that we're dealing with at the same time. And you know, if we have a vehicle that has just so many things to do in one visit, you know, that vehicle is going to tie us up. And yes, that vehicle will pay us, but it's going to take time. So hopefully you guys understand what I'm trying to get at. Maybe some of you guys know from experience, and I can tell you, the shop owners that I know personally, a lot of them have completely stopped taking vehicles like this altogether. You know, it's just not beneficial for them enough anymore to take on headaches like this, you know, when they could be doing a lot easier work. Like I said, things like brake jobs, tune-ups, struts, belts, etc., etc. They would rather stick to doing that work because that work pays, and avoid these type of jobs altogether. So that still leaves us with the big question. What should we do? Should we be the hero and try to take on this vehicle? Or should we just tell the customer, hey, I'm sorry, I really don't think we have the time to dedicate to this vehicle. Here's the list of the things that we found wrong, and just send him on his way. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna end off today's video right here because I'm ready to go home. It's the end of the day, and I just felt like I wanted to share the situation with you guys, because I feel like, you know, this is something that a lot of shop owners deal with, and they may not necessarily know how to deal with it. Like I said, I still haven't decided what I'm gonna do. If I do decide to continue with the vehicle, I am going to make a video about it. So if you're interested in that, look forward to seeing that video. And if you guys can, let me know what you would do down in the comment section. Tell me, what would you do? Anyways, guys, thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it useful. I hope you found it informational. If you did, please hit the like button. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that notification bell, and I hope to see you in the next one. Thanks.